Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So I saw this story and I was like, yeah, I could expect this. I mean, after all, we've had Tillerson, we've had the people he hired for the EPA, we've had Betsy DeVos. He's a reality show host. So this doesn't necessarily throw me off, even though it was kind of an eyebrow raise. Donald Trump, when Gary Cohen left as a Trump economic advisor, Donald Trump, I think it was yesterday or either today, hired a television show host, Larrry Kudlow, as his top economic advisor. Is what it is. Let's take a look at the story first before we say anything about it. Trump hires Kudlow. You're looking handsome, Larry. The president tapped CNBC's contributor to be his top economic advisor Tuesday night, a week after Gary Cohen announced his resignation. Kudlow will be the next director of National Economic Council, succeeding Gary Cohen as President Donald Trump's top economic advisor, the White House confirmed Wednesday. Larry Kudlow was offered and accepted the position of assistant to the president for economic policy and director of the National Economic Council, White House press secretary Sarah Huckabee said in a statement. She added that the White House was working to have an orderly transition and would announce timing soon. Trump offered the job to Kudlow, a CNBC personality who has been a regular outside advisor to the president, over the phone Tuesday night while Kudlow was at a dinner Caprini restaurant in Manhattan. A person close to the matter said earlier Wednesday Kudlow accepted. During the call, Trump said he was seeing Kudlow's photo on television and told him, "You're looking handsome, Larry. You're looking handsome, Larry." The president thinks very highly of Kudlow. The White House Deputy Press Secretary Raj Shah told reporters aboard Air Force One as Trump flew to Missouri from California on Wednesday. They had a great conversation on the phone yesterday. He added that many people wanted the NEC job. But I'm Donald Trump. I'm the boss. I just hired another television show personality. I was looking for stuff on Kudlow and I came across this article. I thought this was funny. God, cocaine, money, and forgetting. A look at Donald Trump's new economic advisor. Somebody put a hit piece on Kudlow already. So it's a story of God, cocaine, money, and forgetting. But maybe not in that order. I love that. After this stint in D.C., Kudlow returned to the private sector in 1987, headed to Wall Street, and spent some years, like every other debauched executive, with an excess of cash in a waterbed on the tail end of the me decade, on week-long cocaine binges. His drug problem caused him to resign from the investment bank Bear Stearns in 1994. It's good that he got out of that investment firm because they went belly up pretty soon. I love that because of the National Review, intellectual atmosphere, and interesting people, Kudlow told Catholic publication Crisis Magazine in 2000. And there is a certain Catholicism that permeates the place. But Kudlow kept drinking and snorting, and the National Review fired him after a year. He hit rock bottom in 1995 and shipped out for 5 months in a Minnesota rehab. There, he ditched the coke and the booze for good for you, and upon leaving rehab, he signed up for some Catholic Opus Dei retreat and found he liked the rigor of conservative and what some call cult-like group that has been likened to Scientology, with ties to fascist organizations in Italy, and which offered spiritual succor to the likes of the late conservative Justice Anthony Scalia. In 1997, Kudlow was on his knees at a chapel at St. Martin's Moore Church in New York City, bawling and converting to Catholicism in front of the whole lockjawed National Review gang, including Buckley, Kate O'Brien, Bernie, and Peggy Noonan. "As soon as I saw Christ on the cross, I felt at one with it," said Kudlow, who was bar mitzvahs at 13. He soon found his other true calling as the king of alt-right wing economic media, and today he is a CNBC contributor, has his own live radio program, the syndicated Larry Kudlow Show, airing every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. and publishes comments roughly once or twice a week to present detailed economic research analysis of recent economic and political trends and developments, according to his website. He also dispenses private wisdom to his clients through the Kudlow and Company, according to his website. Those investors apparently don't know or care that Kudlow has been spectacularly wrong on the biggest economic turning points in modern history. Just before the real estate crash that provoked the 2008 global financial meltdown, he ridiculed people, predicting that the outcome as bubbleheads was still assuring his listeners and viewers that the financial crash, that there was nothing to worry about. As late as 2011, he predicted that the Obama administration's stimulus program would create 1970-style stagflation. Meanwhile, the country that is seeing the lowest inflation in 2 generations and the lowest interest rates in history. They're trying to make the point that he's been spectacularly wrong. Trump's original tax plan, released to the ridicule of mainstream economists on both sides of the political spectrum last September, would have cost $10 trillion and given massive tax cuts to the rich. He has since brought on Kudlow and former American Heritage senior economist Stephen Moore, another supply-side discipline, to tinker with it. The two advisors have, according to Bloomberg, pared down the cost of the plan to $3.8 trillion by raising the top tax rate to 28% from 25%. This is still an epic bonanza for the super rich, since the current top tax rate is 39.6%. The plan keeps capital gains rate at 15% across income levels and lets companies use immediate expensing of equipment for tax purposes. He's trying to give you an idea on the quantity that you're dealing with Larry Kudlow. Trump, in that tax plan, is going to rape the American public. He's putting $1.5 trillion on top of the heads of the American workers while giving the super rich a massive tax cut. The tax plan is somewhat of a gimmick because in the first few years, yeah, the people see a bump, but later on that bump goes away. But the super rich continue to get their tax cut. Larry Kudlow is in favor of this, and looking up Larry Kudlow, I've seen multiple videos where Larry Kudlow is giving this his stamp of approval. He thinks it's a big fucking awesome thing. He is not on board for the tariffs, which is going to be an interesting mix. He's even said so, that he's not necessarily on board with the tariffs. He doesn't like this idea of trade. He makes the case that, yes, you may help one industry, but you're going to hurt all of the other industries because you're going to raise prices on everything else. People are going to have to pay more for steel. That is true. I don't necessarily know what's going to take place with regards to how that's going to end up overall. One steel company has said that it was closing down. It's now saying it's reopening. That said, just from a logic standpoint, if other companies have to pay more for steel and those steel items are items that you're buying, it seems like those items will increase in cost since people are not necessarily going to eat the cost themselves, meaning the companies are not necessarily going to eat those costs. They're just going to raise the prices of whatever they're doing. But that being said, we'll see the outcome. Either way, this guy is going to be the next economic advisor for Donald Trump. So this video wasn't meant to be long. I just wanted to give a heads up to Larry Kudlow. Thanks, guys.